The Problem of Evil.
Yes.
Very, very familiar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, we could just get straight in there. Like, why do you think God would allow for children to get cancer?
Because we rebelled against God's perfect creation, and so as a temporal judgment and part of his redemptive plan, he temporarily is going to allow like bad things to happen. So because when you rebel against God, you love the world and not God, and so because the bad things happen in the world, we it helps people turn to God. And
So cancer would help people turn to God.
yes,
Yeah, children get cancer for the same reason that elderly people get cancer, because we're all subject to the sentence of death. Some people get an early departure. Some people get lucky, and they get to stay here a longer period of time. We're all going to end up in the same location before God on Judgment Day.
Okay. I
And by
mean,
the way, there is no logical problem of evil with God unless you're thinking of the evidential problem of evil. Then you're going to go toward a probabilistic line of reasoning. But the evils that are in the world are perfectly compatible with the plan of the God of the Bible.
when
So,
when the doctor told my dad he had cancer, he didn't go like, "Oh, there must not be a God. Why would God give him cancer?" He said, "I'm going to Jesus."
yeah. So there's only a problem of evil in the minds of atheists. It's an emotional problem.
it's not really. I mean, I'm not emotional right now.
No, it is an emotional problem because there's no logical problem of evil. The fact that you brought up children is a dead giveaway. Oops.
I said children because they're the most innocent. So
That's an emotional issue.
if an all-loving God
Nobody's
loved
innocent.
everyone,
Nobody's innocent, my friend. Nobody.
so not newborn children are innocent.
No, they're just waiting neurological development until they do commit evil. Okay, so the bottom line is
Very interesting.
you're not accepting God's plan. It's that simple because you exalt your
No,
human
not if his
reasoning
plan
over.
includes giving children cancer.
Sir, sir, good. Then tell that to God on Judgment Day.
I would happily tell that to God. I would ask him, God, why would you allow for these
Dude,
children to
dude,
get
dude,
cancer?
listen to me. Well, listen to me. How old are you?
Not 20.
Okay, you're a stupid 20-year-old.
That's not
You're
very
you're
nice.
literally you're literally stupid. You understand what you're saying is
Why are you calling me stupid?
because that's a stupid statement. You're literally saying you're wiser than God. Are you wiser than God?
Well, how can I be wiser than something that
First of all, on Judgment Day, nobody is going to be objecting to squat diddly before God. Okay, so you're just engaging in little teenage level reasoning. Okay,
right? Are you
this
done?
is how you talk now. Look, let me explain something to you. Imagine somebody walks up to you and you have a
Mm-hmm.
verbal altercation with them, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're upset with you and they douse you with lighter fluid or gasoline.
Okay.
Okay? And they now pull out a lighter, right? And they're about to light you on fire and you're going to be immolated. Are you going to trash talk them if they have a lighter in their hand and you have no
Well, I
means of
mean
retreat?
by natural survivor's
Focus
instinct.
on the question. If you
I am.
dodge the question, I'm going to kick you. If you had no means of retreat at that moment when you've been doused with lighter fluid or gasoline and they have a lighter in their hand, are you going to trash talk them? Yes or no?
No, I would beg for my life.
Okay, good. So you're a bullshitter because here you're going to
How?
be standing before God and you're going to trash talk God.
I would ask God
Okay,
why He would
get
allow.
out of here. Get out of here,
Why? What have I
you
done?
flat. Yeah, you're being.
Why can't we debate,
We're
guys?
done. We're done. There's no debate. You're just sitting there going, "Oh, I will happily challenge God on Judgment Day." I mean, really, dude? Really?
Oh boy,
I mean, it doesn't get any more stupid than that. There's not going to be anyone challenging God on Judgment
they're gonna
Day.
be on their knees.
You know,
Well,
I'm just tired of this stupid teenage mentality.
welcome, Marva.
Hey, hi, how are you?
Doing well. What would you like to say?
Thanks for putting me on. Well, I would like to personally thank Jesus for putting food on my table.
Okay, but we're kind of looking to do debates with non-believers.
No, I was just starting. My point. He put food on my table while looking in the eye of a child that is dying of hunger and looking at his last breath, and in the same time looking the mother in the eyes that is praying to God for the life of
Okay,
her child.
so let's make it.
So
Let's make it
that's
clear
your
here.
God.
Yeah, dude, this is emotional.
Dude.
Okay, what you're objecting to, and please don't interrupt me. What you're objecting to is the sentence of death and suffering. God has imposed certain unpleasantries along the course of redemptive history to accomplish a number of purpose in redemption. You deem that God does not have sufficient reason or moral reasons to do that. You're not in a position to question
God is.
God's
Okay.
sufficient reasoning. Now, so I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Is the sentence of death, which is upon all human beings, okay, does this contradict something?
Well, it contradicts the fact that there is a God, because there is no God for that child that is that died. There is no God for the mother that is looking at her child in her arms while it's dying. There is no God for every other being that is being failed.
Are you even listening to me?
You're not making sense.
Okay.
You have a list of 5 points and all of them are false. Christianity is objectively proven.
Okay.
Where do they grow these?
Another psychotic atheist. Okay. It's just an appeal to emotion and relativistic logic. Okay. So what they're objecting to is the sentence of death. Right. So you're not in a position to say that God imposing a temporal judgment of death upon all humanity, in part in fulfilling His redemptive plan of history. What does that conflict with? Well, it doesn't conflict with God's character and His plan of creation and redemptive history. So what would it conflict with? Well, it would conflict with the human being who falsely believes that their reasoning is supreme over and against what God has revealed in the Bible. Well, what justifies that? The answer is nothing. Okay, it's always children and cancer or children and starvation. Okay. Look, none of us are going to escape this planet alive. Okay? So you're just objecting to the sentence of death, right? Now, if you want to add in the factor of suffering, yeah, everybody suffers to one degree or another. Some people suffer more than others. It's a part of God's overall plan. If you object to it, then what you're saying is God's plan is somehow wrong or bad or immoral or not wise. Well, by what authority do you say that? Well, the answer is you don't have one other than your own false belief that your reasoning is supreme. I mean, this is how stupid these people are. This is not adult thinking. You know, to think, you know, even when I was a child and getting older, but still not an adult, I always understood when thinking about God that regardless of what we don't like in this world, what God permits, none of us are in a position to call into question the wisdom or the goodness of God, in spite of the fact that there are certain things that we find very unpleasant, right? Yet these people are driven by emotion. They're not actually driven by reason. But they will deny that they are driven by emotion, and they will claim they're driven by reason. But then when we try to reason with them and saying, all you're just simply asserting is that you have a better plan. Your plan is better and wiser, and is of a higher value than God's. Right? I don't have to like the unpleasantries of life during during human history, right? But what I don't have the liberty to do is to not accept and reject God's plan, and that it's somehow evil or unwise or whatever, because there's no basis to defend that. So we're just dealing with people that are complete amateurs when it comes to challenging the existence of God. By the way, as smart as Graham Oppie is, I was listening to that again while I was in the store, and his answers were pathetic.
Did you agree with what I was saying about them?
I only heard parts of it because I was in the store.
Okay, no worries.
If you want to go over that again,
That's okay.
sure.
You can just keep going.
Black Hat, do you want to say anything?
I kind of want to ask some questions on the things you have up there. The first one, pretty standard. Second one, the third one, I'm not too sure of. I'm not a historian. The fourth one, I don't really want to get political about. The fifth one is really my What do you mean when you say science is a theistic concept?
Because without an identifiable, defensible absolute, wherein the absolute has the property set to secure what is and cannot be, and to ground regularity amongst irregularity, then there's no basis for the uniformity of nature. And without a basis for the uniformity of nature, you have no basis for science.
Okay. I thought your answer would be something different. Like,
Yeah.
what was that?
In order to talk about regularities, okay, is there something that imposes those regularities? Because if there's not something that imposes it, then the regularities are just simply happenstance. You can't talk about laws.
Science also needs like a connection between the human mind and the natural world, so that the mind can know the natural world. And that's only
Science originated with a Christian outlook that God, as the creator and the lawgiver, created this world to operate in law-like ways, and that by a rigorous investigation we can uncover through reason and inference what certain things are in the unseen realm by inferring from what we can see. Science is largely inferential. Are you aware of that?
I'm sorry, I don't know what that word means.
It's an inference.
Oh, you make an inference as in...
Yeah. Science is largely inferential. Okay?
Okay.
And so because of the predictive success of scientific endeavors and inferences, people have deemed that the inferences are true and not false. Okay? So when you have repeated predictive success, see, what if it was the case that going back a couple of thousand years ago, before the modern era of science, suppose that we tries to appease the gods, right? And every time we would appeal to the gods and offer sacrifices, certain things would go right. And when we wouldn't appease the gods, things would go badly. After a certain period of time with predictive success, we would infer that the regularities of the world are controlled and dictated by the gods rather than laws that are not representative of being conscious agents. So the bottom line is science is largely inferential about what is unseen. We infer the unseen from what is seen. And when we have repeated predictive success without fail, we conclude that the inferences are correct. But that belief depends upon the regularity and uniformity of nature. But the regularity of nature can only make sense and be grounded in a world where God is the single absolute that grounds all the regularities. Deny that God is and that he reveals himself, then you're going to have to explain what is it that is absolute, invariant, and that secures the regularity of nature, simply versus a chance world where we're just in a pocket of time where there are just a lot of consistencies.
Okay, no offense.
I'm going into radio silence.
Oh, what was that?
Yes, he's not able to talk anymore. He has to go take a break.
Oh, okay. I really want to have a conversation with him, to be honest. Do you want to have that conversation, or?
I mean, I can, sure, yeah. So science, it's necessary. Science needs like logic and the uniformity of nature, and science can't prove those things. So
Yeah.
it's God.
Okay. How about we have a thing where, no offense, I hate this thing in debates or something when people talk over each other, because then you're just going to kick me because I accidentally talked over you. So when I'm done talking, I'll just say, I'm done talking. I'm done talking.
Yeah, but like if I need to interrupt you, I'm going to interrupt you, but I'll try to give you a chance to talk.